Alright, let's do a tutorial on my 1995 4Runner. About to change the rear shocks. Doesn't look like a 1995 because I changed the front end to the older style front end with the removable caps, but let's get right into it. So the reason I'm making the video is because if you notice, it's kind of hard to reach that rear shock. So you can see it on this side and on that side, it's kind of hard to reach it. On the top nut, that should be like somewhere around here. So there isn't actually any good videos that show you how you can get to it or how you can repair it. So I thought I'd go ahead and make one as I'm figuring it out. I'm gonna go ahead and change it with these old man emu rear shocks. I heard they're pretty good and I got a good deal on them, so let's see how this goes. Alright guys, so as you can see, this is the stock rear shock right here. I'll zoom out a little. So the bottom bolt is pretty easy to take off, right? Now the top bolt, it looks like it's going to be a little bit more of a headache. So as you can see, like, it's the top of the head. You could probably see the one on the other side through here. If I zoom in, you can see the one on that side. Oh shoot, no, you can't see it. Well, the nut's going to be right through here. I don't know how to get to it, but I'm gonna figure it out right now. Probably somewhere on this side. The underside is, it's blocked, so you can't really get under there in any way. So we'll figure it out right now. So I figured out how I'm gonna take off that top nut for the shock, right? So, here's the bottom bolt, obviously, very easy one. And right up there where I left my socket, you could see that right there is the top nut, which is pretty out of reach, especially because you can't go over the chassis either because there's no space for you to put the ratchet. So what we're gonna do here is very special. We're gonna try out something like this. So you can see the socket right there still left it in sight. I'm gonna pretty much just go, let me zoom out, I'm gonna go right above this, right after the chassis, right above these lines. And I'm gonna reach over towards the socket. You see, I'm really close to it. I could even, barely graze it. So we're gonna put the ratchet and kind of ratchet it out. It should be a little bit of work, but I think we can take care of it. All right, let's try it out. It's basically the rear shock. You have to hold it from here. And I mean, if you're gonna put a new one in, then you're probably gonna damage the outside of it. Hold it real tight. And then so you just have to reach over and take the nut off on that side. Probably make it easier for you. Okay, basically the tools that I used to take off that back shock or that rear shock was this right here, this set of pliers. These work really good for holding that tube. As you can see, I squashed it a little bit. And it was a 14 ratcheting wrench. Used it from that side. You know how I pointed out at first. We're gonna use it and just ratchet right off. It was easier because I had somebody ratchet it while I'm just holding the tube in the front. And yeah, that's how you take that off. And of course, that bottom nut should look like this. It should be a little short one like this. All right, and now I should just be able to pretty much yank this down to take it out and pull it outwards right here so it'll fall out. I was able to take out the rear shock. Basically, it was a little tougher than I thought. It wasn't just a pull down and let it fall out. Basically, I needed to jam my pry bar like this. You see this bushing that got left on there, and be careful with that line right there. That blew out your brake line, so you don't want to hit it too hard. Just kind of lean it up against the axle and take off the shock from the bottom. And if the nut's already off, you can just yank it down, straight down. Anyway, that was pretty tight on there. See, the bushing even came out. That's what I'm tapping off right now, but it should come off right now in a second. And yeah, we'll see how putting in the new one is. All right, and there's the shock. It's up now. You just put on that same nut. I use the same washers that were on the stock That one was stock shock. And as for the top nut up here, the OME ones come with a brand new nut, and it's now a 17 instead of a 14, so it's a little bit bigger. And you would stack the washers. It's pretty much like this. So this is the original Toyota shock, the rear shock. So as you can see, the bushings were shot. There's a bunch of grease coming out right there, a bunch of the liquid coming out. And that's how you would stack the bushings that came with the bushings and the washers that came with the OME shocks. You stack them the same exact way as this one is stacked, and you should be good. And it'll come with the replacement nut that I was talking about in the larger size, but it will not come with the washers that come on the bottom. So I reused the ones from this one, which it looks like they had them on there backwards. I wonder the bushing was kind of bad. Alrighty. All right. As for the driver's side shock, that one's actually a lot easier. So you know, I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this one has this thing blocking it, so it's kind of tough to get to that nut up there, which now you could actually see it from a distance because you can see the yellow tip right there, the shock. Whereas this passenger side, or the driver's side one, sorry, is super visible, so you could actually have the nut right here. That's super easy. And then since there's no brackets or anything here, just this muffler, you could reach the nut pretty easily right there too. So it's right there, and you can actually see it with the naked eye with me just pointing at it, whereas the other one was more hidden and I needed to stack my socket on it for you to see it. But yeah, this one I could reach it pretty easily. And yeah, so this one I probably won't even need to take the tire off. I'm just gonna take this nut off from right here, take it down from right here, and be able to replace it without even taking the tire off like I did on the driver's side or on the passenger side. All right, so doing the driver's side one's even easier than I thought. I just stuck in that ratcheting wrench right here, 14. Just put it on the nut, kind of jammed it right there in that spot, right under the muffler. And I was actually able to just turn this piece. Well, with both hands I could turn it. Basically just turn that, and then the nut will back itself out. So we're all done. Both shocks are replaced, for both rear ones. Like I said, that driver's side one was a whole lot easier. Literally I did it in minutes. Driver's side one, passenger side one was a little bit tougher, but it wasn't a huge issue. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments, like, subscribe. If you want to see me post more videos and more different tutorials how to do them, go into detail a little bit instead of just telling you I did it, go ahead and let me know.